I'm just here on behalf of Sister Martina this morning. I'm not speaking in my own capacity as DataLab. I am speaking on behalf of Sister Martina. I've worked with Sister Martina over the last 1 year. I initially started as a PA, and eventually, when I got a full time role, I switched to volunteering. And I think, well, who best to speak for her but me? So she wanted me to spotlight 4 areas that she wanted to speak to graduates about. And as I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself as well. So the first point is she said I should say you have to believe in yourself. You have to be able to articulate your skills and communicate it in this environment. You cannot undersell yourself, so don't do it. And you have to build relationships. The pathway to success is, very diverse, as Dr. Oli said. And sometimes the route is not always as straightforward as you think it is. So you should also not forget that you would always need God. And I'm just going to build on this point and then quickly run us through a framework that can help us practicalize it. So if you don't believe in yourself, who will? If you cannot, if you're selling a product that you yourself you haven't used, you don't buy into it, how do you tell other people that that product is good? So if you don't believe in yourself, that is the first, you're not going anywhere from there, basically. And I know that a lot of us are immigrants who are coming into a new environment that might seem strange to you. And sometimes, I go to events and I struggle with walking up to somebody and talking to them. And then I think, they don't have two heads, they won't bite me. I might as well just go for it. And so that's the first key, and that's how you go. Articulate your skills. The most important thing is that we, especially those of us that come from Nigeria, I don't know if you've heard it said before that we're the most educated batch of immigrants. We have all these amazing skills and fantastic work experience. And somehow we chicken out at interviews and we don't know how to talk about those things. So those are areas that, to start to go from here, you have to be able to articulate those skills. Build relationships. I'm not sure we can talk about that enough. Attend events. Dr. Oli talked about how somebody he had, he wasn't even paying attention to that relationship. Open the door. Relationships are very key. You need people to speak for you. You need people to validate some of the things that you say you have done. And, well, I already talked about God. So how do you, I like to be practical about anything I talk about. And I always tell people, the same way organizations position themselves when they enter a new environment or a new market or a new sector is the same way you will do it as an individual. And so we can't talk about a SWOT analysis enough. You already have a degree. That puts you into the top 50%. You have several years of work experience from Nigeria. Those are skills that money cannot buy. Work experience. So identify your strengths. What are the strengths that you have? And you can better then understand how that puts you in a better position than most people already. You then have to understand your weaknesses so that you are able to manage those weaknesses. What are the opportunities around you? And you can't understand or know those opportunities if you're not networking or building relationships. So you have to be able to understand all the opportunities and how you can position yourself to leverage those opportunities. What are the threats that, yes, you're an immigrant, but look at how Dr. Holly was able to turn that around, and then they were able to create something fantastic out of it. So what are those threats? How can you turn those threats into opportunities or opportunities to be creative or innovative? And I think that's how you go from there. So those are the things that Sister Martina wanted me to tell you today. I hope I've been able to communicate her message effectively.